Hello and welcome to another episode of the Cleveland Sports Bros podcast. I'm Matt alongside my brother Nick. Nick, how's it going today?
Great, ready to talk about Cleveland sports?
Yep, and in today's episode we're specifically going to talk about the last night's Guardians game against the Boston Red Sox. Nick was at the game, so he has some pretty good insight and pretty good perspective on what went on. So we want to just provide a recap. It was a great game, great win, and the end result is we're now 1.5 games back behind the Minnesota Twins. So making strides there and playing a lot of good baseball lately. So Nick, give us the highlights.
Well, the big story in last night's game was Jose Ramirez. He carried the team. He hit 3 home runs, 5 RBIs, first 3-run home run game of his career, and he's at 201 home runs and roughly 700 RBIs.
Yeah, so amazing night from him offensively, and he also had a really good play in the field. Nick, do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, so as we know, they call it the hot corner for a reason. Boston batter grounded the ball pretty sharply, and as we hear them say all the time, the ball carried the defender beyond the foul line, and he barehanded it and threw it over to Naylor in time, who made the play. The runner was originally called safe, and the Guardians made the challenge to have the call overturned, and they got it right. It was a great Gold Glove play by the All-Star at third base.
Yeah, definitely. And while I totally agree that he carried the team, at least offensively, there's some good play from other guys like Quan, for example. Jimenez, I think, had a pretty good game from the bat, or from the plate, at least. Can you give us more info on what the offense did?
Yeah. So in the 6th inning, the Cleveland Guardians were facing now relief pitcher and ex-teammate Corey Kluber. So a lot of fans were excited to see him get a chance to pitch. It was a rough inning for Kluber. He gave up 8 straight hits, and the Guardians scored 5 runs in that inning and really piled it on. Before the inning started, it was a 3-2 Cleveland lead, and I recall the inning before, Jack had given up a home run, and you're kind of rolling your eyes hoping they don't let it get away. And we've seen so many 1-run games in the season. We lead the league in that, and we don't have a winning record when that's the case. So it was nice to see their bats explode and break open the game and win 10-3.
Yeah, and we've seen their bats come alive for the last few series. So hopefully that trend continues. And I know it seems like every year Indians and Guardians fans complain that the bats take a while to wake up. Perhaps this year it seemed longer than normal. But Nick, do you think this is something that they can continue? Do you think they fixed something, or how much does confidence play in this?
Well, I think the Guardians will continue this. I don't want to necessarily say hot streak, but I think they have found their swing, and their confidence is coming back. Rosario is putting hits together. Brennan is a very important piece who plays right field and also hit a home run last night. So as a total, they had 4. And being a Cleveland team, we got to remember it might just take time because of the weather, and they don't panic, and I think that's a huge quality to remember, whether it's coming from the players or Tito Francona. They're patient, and they always know how to turn things around.
Yeah, I agree. And it starts from Francona at the top, his calm demeanor, and his baseball knowledge. And, he's been there before, and he's won titles, and he's been in every single situation. So nothing is new to him. And I think that reflects upon his team. All right, let's look at the other side of the ball. Savali, he's recently come back from about a 2-month stint on the IL. He had a great game. Nick, can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, Savali was credited with the win, pitching 5 2/3 innings. He racked up 3 strikeouts, and that's not very high. But when you got great defense from Jose Ramirez and a couple double plays were in the mix, and you're limiting your opponent, in this case the Red Sox, chances, it doesn't matter what the strikeout total is as long as you get the win.
Yeah, definitely. So I think a lot of fans maybe counted him out early, but he has had all-star numbers before. He got injured in 2021 before, otherwise he probably should have been an all-star. But hey, this is a great pitching staff, and if he can come alive, I mean, that's going to help this team moving forward tremendously. And also, we know, Nick, tell us about Tristan McKenzie.
Yeah, just one quick note again on Savali. I remember, like you said, I was at the game last night when I was headed to the ballpark. I wasn't too confident in him getting the start. Like you said, you mentioned Tristan McKenzie, who had just returned. I kind of wish, at least before the game was played, that McKenzie were starting. About a week ago, against the Minnesota Twins, he made his season debut. He missed it because of shoulder soreness, they called it, and he struck out 10 batters in 7 total innings. Just a tremendous performance. Unfortunately, he took the no decision, but as a team, the team Cleveland got the win. It was great to see him back.
Yeah, for sure. So, with McKenzie, Bieber, if Savali plays this way, every night or nearly every night, and then some of these young guys that they've brought up, I mean, this pitching staff continues to show that they can bring up talent, and even if that talent struggles for a little bit, get them on the right track for the most part.
Yeah, and if I could make one final point on Jose, I went to the ball game with a good friend of mine last night. So shout out to Mike Kilpatrick, that's his name. And he had a Jim Thome jersey on, and after the ball game, I was thinking, how could this game tie to Jim Thome? We know what a great third baseman and Hall of Famer he is for the Indians, and I found the answer. As a Cleveland Indian, Thome hit 337 career home runs, 612 overall. But you got to remember what a great person Jose is off the field. Also, he took a pay cut to stay with the Cleveland Guardians, and he will be here for the next 5 years. My point I'm trying to make: we're going to see him when the day comes make history, and he's only 136 home runs away from breaking Tome's record. So when that day comes, it'll be truly exciting, whether it's home game, road game. I know you can get that done in a 5-year span.
Yeah, totally. And it doesn't take away from what Thome did, but would definitely be great to see someone surpass that record. Because that'll bring team success too. All right, Nick, great recap of the game. What do the Guardians have next, or who do they have next, should I say?
So tonight at 7:10, they continue the homestand for a 3-game series against the Houston Astros. Tonight, the Guardians have the young Logan Allen pitching against Javier.
Yeah, but
don't know his last name, but
He's a good
Yeah.
pitcher though. So, we were looking at his stats before, and the Astros have a good record. They're a good team.
27.
And perhaps you can't always trust them either. So, should be a good weekend with pretty good weather for the most part, and hopefully a lot of fans show up, and perhaps we can overtake the Twins.
Definitely, and I think they can take them over, not just over a period of time, but perhaps this weekend, because the Twins have a tough schedule, and regardless of what happens, we don't see them until late August. So, whether it's this week, 2 weeks from now, or even right then in that moment in August, it'll be a fight to the end.
Yeah, definitely. All right, great recap. Looking forward to this weekend series, and we'll bring you a lot more this summer for all Cleveland sports teams, and certainly looking forward to an exciting summer for the Guardians. You've been listening to the Cleveland Sports Bros podcast.